Hi, my name is Robert Oncoy, and welcome to my video on process descriptions. There are various kinds of processes to talk about, so in this one I'll focus on one, the manufacturing process. Here we see a typical IELTS question that comprises of a rubric. This is the exam's way of introducing the graph or the image to you. And it also provides you the task, which tells you what you must do in 20 minutes. You need to summarize this information by selecting and reporting the main features and making comparisons where relevant. Please note, again, this is only one type of process we're looking at today. It is a linear process, or some might say a man-made process. What makes this linear is the fact that we have a starting point and we have an end point. So how do we select and choose the features? That's what we need to do in the first 3 minutes of the exam. Whatever you do, don't put your pen to paper and start writing your essay without any planning. Otherwise, you will waste and lose a lot of time. Here, let's take a look at how we select the features. I find it helps to take a pen to the paper and draw how many steps there are. Now, the first 5 steps here that I see contribute to the first stage, which is a group of steps. And this is a stage called cement production. In the second stage, I see 2 steps. And this stage is the concrete production. I also find it very handy to quickly note down what goes in and what is made by the end of each stage. So here in the stage 1, we start with limestone and clay, and we come out with cement powder. And in stage 2, we have 4 products, one of which is the cement from the first stage, and we end with concrete. Now, that's not the only thing you need to do when you analyze your graph in the first 3 minutes. Let's move on. I find it quite useful as a tip to have my students write down the actions that take place in a process. Because as you might have learned, we need to use the passive voice, not just the active voice. So if I look here throughout the steps, I see a crusher that gives me the verb to crush. I see a mixer, which gives me the passive voice. So mix is are mixed, or its synonym combined. A rotating heater is are rotated and heated. We see a grinder, which leads us to a synonym at the end, pulverized. So writing this down within that first 3 minutes helps you when it comes time to writing the body paragraphs, so you're not left wondering, oh, how do I say this in another way? Now, when we start the writing, the writing stage, 3 minutes has been already spent on planning. Let's get to it. This is the fast way of getting past an introduction. Whatever you do, do not copy the introduction word for word from the rubric. What you can do is keep the basic sentence structure and use synonyms to replace some, but not all keywords, like this. Pause the video if you want to read the new introduction. Now, if you feel that your grammar and vocabulary range is strong enough, you can try using more complex sentence structures. For instance, we can change the word order and the word form, or we could change from active to passive voice. Pause the video if you want to read the more advanced version of paraphrasing. Now, once we've done the introduction, we can move on to the overview. Now here, I start off by talking about the broad picture. It is a linear and a man-made process, and there are 2 stages, cement production, concrete production. Now, I can just simply start by describing the cement production stage with the text in red. Then I go on to the next sentence. I go on to summarize the second stage, and I mention the output. So the first one, the output was cement, and the second one, the output is concrete. Now, let's talk about writing the body paragraph. Because the overview has already set the stage for grouping two things into two stages, I'll write about stage one here. Now, feel free to pause the video, but I'm about to make a comment about this paragraph. In this paragraph, you can see that each step is laid out in sequence, and it uses the linking words next, then, next, and finally. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. The grammar is correct, the vocabulary is well chosen, but it feels a little mechanical. If you want to improve your writing, you may consider more complex methods of joining ideas. Now, you can see this obviously in Collins' writing for IELTS, Unit 4 especially. But take a look at how we change it in the next slide. So here, instead of going step 1, next, step 2, next, step 3, I could start using structures like this, and this, and finally this. This adds some complexity to the grammatical structure of your sentences and makes it easier or, well, nicer to read, less boring. Feel free to pause the video to read it in full. Now we get to the second body paragraph. Here it is. As I said before, in the second stage, there are fewer steps, there's less equipment, and we need to basically describe what concrete is made of. And we report the constituent parts, and then it just takes one sentence to explain what happens. Note again that I end here by talking about the end product, concrete. Now, thank you. You've made it to the end of the video. Here is the final essay in full. I have 4 clear paragraphs, with the first one being a good paraphrase of the rubric. The second body paragraph gives a broad overview of what the process is about, what the initial product is, and what the output is. And the body paragraphs reflect what happens in each stage. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next video.